Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Irshad Explains Politics. Today we are going to discuss one of the most fascinating political stories in modern history. How did Singapore, a tiny island nation with almost no natural resources, become one of the richest, safest, and most influential countries in Asia? And why does the passport of Singapore consistently rank among the strongest in the world, allowing its citizens visa free access to more countries than almost anyone else? This video is not about praise or propaganda. Instead, we will examine Singapore's political system from an academic perspective and understand how its government works so that other governments can learn from the success stories of Singapore, why it has remained politically stable for decades and how it achieved rapid economic growth, why its passport has become so powerful, and what criticism political scientists raise about the system of Singapore. Let's begin our story. To understand Singapore's success, we must first understand where it started. When Singapore became independent in 1965, many experts believed it would struggle to survive. The country had no significant natural resources, it has limited land, it has also ethnic tensions, security concerns, a small domestic market. Unlike countries blessed with oil, gas, or large agricultural sectors, Singapore had very little to rely on. Its leaders understood one important reality. If they could not compete through resources, they would have to compete through institutions, governance, education, and global trade. This idea became the foundation of Singapore's political and economic strategy. Singapore is officially a parliamentary republic. The country has a president, a prime minister, a parliament, and it has also elections. However, most of its modern history politics has been dominated by the People's Action Party, commonly known as the PAP. The PAP has governed Singapore since 1959 and remains one of the longest ruling political parties in the world. Political scientists often describe Singapore as a system that combines electoral democracy, strong state institutions, technocratic governance, long term policy planning. Unlike many countries where governments change frequently, Singapore's leadership has emphasized continuity and stability. Supporters argue that this stability helped the country plan decades ahead. Critics argue that long term dominance by one party can reduce political competitions. Both arguments are important for understanding Singapore's model. One of the most important concepts in Singapore's political philosophy is meritocracy. Meritocracy means people should advance based on ability, performance, and qualification rather than family background or political connections. Singapore invested heavily in education, public administrations, professional civil services. Government officials are often selected through rigorous examinations and performance evaluations. The objective is simple: to create a state that is managed by highly skilled administrators. Supporters argue that this reduces corruption and improve decision making. However, some scholars also debate whether meritocracy can sometimes create social pressure and inequality if success becomes too closely linked to academic performance. Many analysts describe Singapore as a technocracy. A technocracy is a system where policy decisions are heavily influenced by experts economists, engineers, and specialists. Instead of focusing primarily on ideology, Singapore's leadership often emphasized data, efficiency, planning, measurable outcomes. For example, when discussing housing, transportation, education, or healthcare, policymakers frequently rely on long term statistical analysis rather than short term political popularity. This approach helped Singapore develop modern infrastructure, efficient public transportation, high quality urban planning, strong public services. Many international governance rankings consistently place Singapore among the world's most effective government. Political stability alone does not create prosperity. Singapore's leaders also designed a unique economic strategy. Instead of isolating itself, Singapore embraced globalization. The country became a major shipping hub, a financial center, a trading gateway, a technology and logistic hub. Its location along important international shipping routes became a strategic advantage. Foreign companies were encouraged to invest. International businesses found predictable regulations, efficient bureaucracy, strong legal institutions. As a result, Singapore attracted multinational corporations from around the world. Over time, the country transformed into one of Asia's most important economic centers. Another major reason behind Singapore's success is its strong anti corruption framework. Corruption can weaken political institutions, reducing public trust and discourage investment. Singapore adopted strict anti corruption measures and developed a reputation for enforcing laws consistently. Many international investors view predictable governance as one of Singapore's greatest strengths. When business know that contracts will be enforced and regulations applied consistently, economic activity become easier and less risky. This trust helps Singapore attract global capital. Why? No, let's discuss the question many people ask. Why is the Singapore passport ranked among the strongest in the world? According to the latest ranking by the Henley and Partners, Singapore holds the world's most powerful passport, providing visa free or visa on arrival access to more destinations than any other country. But passport strength is not just about tourism. A strong passport reflects diplomatic credibility, international trust, stable governance, strong international relations. The Henley Passport Index notes that countries improve passport power through active diplomacy and reciprocal agreement with other nations. In other words, the strength of Singapore's passport is partly a reflection of how the international community views Singapore as a stable, reliable, and trusted partner. This is an example of what political scientists called soft power. Soft power, a country does not become influential only through military power, it can also gain influence through reputation, diplomacy, economic success, institutional credibility. Singapore has invested heavily in these areas. Singapore's foreign policy is often described as pragmatic. Rather than aligning itself entirely with one major part, Singapore generally seeks balanced relationship with multiple countries. It maintains strong ties with Asian countries, Western nations, international organizations. This balanced approach helps Singapore avoid excessive dependence on any single power. Diplomatic flexibility also contribute to international trust and global mobility for Singaporean citizens. An academic analysis must also discuss criticism. Some political scientists argue that Singapore's political system places significant emphasis on order, stability, and government's effectiveness. Critics raise questions about media freedom, political competition, opposition representation, public debate. Others argue that the dominance of a single political party over many decades may reduce political diversity. At the same time, supporters respond that the system has delivered economic prosperity, low corruption, public safety, high living standards. This debate continues among scholars today. The key point is that Singapore's model contains both strength and trade offs. No political system is perfect. Every model involves choices between competing priorities such as efficiency, participation, stability, and pluralism. Many countries cannot simply copy Singapore. Singapore is relatively small, geographically compact, and has unique historical circumstances. However, several lessons are frequently highlighted by researchers. First lesson is strong institutions matter more than natural resources. Second is long term planning can be more effective than short term political thinking. Third lesson is education and professional public administrations are critical for national development. And fourth lesson is fighting corruption improves both governance and economic growth. And fifth lesson is diplomatic credibility can become a major national asset. These lessons are relevant far beyond Singapore itself. Singapore's story challenges a common assumptions in politics that national success depends primarily on size, population, or natural resources. Instead, Singapore demonstrates how governance, institutions, education, and strategic planning can shape a country's future. Its political system remains one of the most studied models in Asia because it combines stability, technocratic governance, economic openness, strong state institutions. At the same time, scholars continue to debate important questions about political competition, representation, and democratic development. And perhaps that is the most important lesson. Understanding politics is not about blindly praising or criticizing a country, it is about examining evidence, understanding institutions, and learning how different political systems produce different outcomes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy academic and evidence based discussions on politics, international relations, governance, and global power structures, subscribe to at Irshad Explains Politics. See you in the next video.